Welcome to Psyverge. You say you want to be happy, but deep down, do you really? It's a strange question, isn't it? Counterintuitive, almost offensive. Who wouldn't want to be happy? And yet, every time you start to feel a little peace, a little joy, there's a tug, a subtle tension, a voice in the background that whispers, "You don't deserve this," or "This won't last," or worse, "This isn't you." Most people believe they're moving toward happiness, chasing it like a dream that can finally make life feel worthwhile. But what if you're not chasing it at all? What if you're running from it, sabotaging it every time it gets too close? To understand this, we need to enter a darker room, a place few dare to explore. This is where shadow psychology lives, the side of you you've buried, repressed, and denied, the parts of yourself that secretly control you. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who coined the concept of the shadow, believed that each of us carries a hidden self, one made up of traits, thoughts, and desires we were taught to reject. These could be aggressive tendencies, jealous impulses, selfishness, laziness, fear, and even unfiltered joy. Yes, joy. Sometimes we even reject the light within us, especially when it makes us stand out in a world that demands conformity. From childhood, we were told to be good, to behave, to be likable, obedient, humble, modest, nice. Anything outside that narrow framework got punished. So, we learned to push it down. We became polite masks of what others wanted us to be. And what we buried didn't just vanish, it grew stronger in the dark. And here's the truth most people miss. The shadow doesn't want to hurt you. It wants to be seen. It wants to be known. And when it's not acknowledged, it doesn't go quietly. It takes control in covert, self-destructive ways. This is why you sabotage your own happiness. Because happiness requires wholeness. And you can't be whole while parts of you are screaming in the basement. So when you're finally in a good relationship, your shadow whispers, "You're not lovable. They'll leave." And you start pushing them away. When your career begins to rise, your shadow says, "You're a fraud. Just wait till they find out." And suddenly, you procrastinate. You underperform. You start doubting everything you've worked for. It's not bad luck. It's not a lack of discipline. It's your shadow making sure you don't rise above the image of yourself that you've unconsciously accepted. Let that sink in. You are not afraid of failure. You are afraid of betraying your identity, even when that identity is built on wounds. If, deep down, you believe you're worthless, happiness becomes a threat. If you believe you're not meant to be seen, then success becomes terrifying. And if you were taught that love is conditional, you will find ways to prove that no one can love the real you. Self-sabotage is not stupidity. It's self-protection. It's your psyche trying to stay consistent with your internal map of reality. And unless that map changes, every road, no matter how promising, will eventually lead you back to where you started. Pain, confusion, emptiness. Now let's go even deeper. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In other words, unless you meet your shadow face to face, it will own you. Most people walk through life like ghosts, haunted by beliefs they didn't choose. A girl told she was too loud learns to shrink her voice. A boy mocked for crying learns to numb his emotions. A creative soul born into a family that values security learns to hide their dreams. These messages become internal laws. I must not shine. I must be invisible. I must suffer to be worthy. Over time, these laws feel like truths. But they're not truths. They're trauma responses. And they become prisons. The most dangerous part? You don't see the bars. You decorate the cell. You call it humility, responsibility, realism. But what you're really doing is surviving, not living. Shadow work, true psychological growth, is about stepping into that darkness with a lantern. It's about asking, what parts of me did I kill to be accepted? And then bringing them back to life. That means getting uncomfortable, owning your envy, your rage, your need for attention, your shame, your hidden desires. It means realizing that the most inappropriate parts of you might be the keys to your freedom. A person who owns their darkness stops being controlled by it. They can finally enjoy love without sabotaging it. They can succeed without guilt. They can feel joy without fearing it will be taken away. Because the shadow is no longer an enemy. It's a guide. Philosophers have spoken about this under different names. Nietzsche called it embracing the Dionysian, chaos, instinct, passion. He believed true strength comes not from suppressing the beast within, but by taming it, dancing with it. Even in Eastern philosophy, the idea isn't to reject the ego or the dark, but to integrate it. Yin and yang, light and shadow, each needs the other. But our culture tells us to be happy by thinking positive, by manifesting, by ignoring what hurts. And that's why most people feel like imposters even at their happiest moments. Because you can't skip steps, you can't build happiness on a cracked foundation. The truth is, healing isn't light. It's fire. And the only way out of self-sabotage is through the flame, through the process of unlearning, of grieving who you had to become, and choosing who you want to be. You sabotage your happiness because part of you believes happiness is dangerous, that it will make you soft, that you'll lose it and be worse off, that you'll be alone if you shine too brightly, that it's too late, that you don't deserve it. But what if none of that is true? What if your happiness isn't a reward for perfection, but a byproduct of integration, of owning every part of yourself, the noble and the messy, the sacred and the shameful? Then maybe, just maybe, you'll stop sabotaging yourself not because you tried harder, but because you finally remembered who you were before the world told you to be someone else. And from that place, not perfection but authenticity, happiness doesn't feel like a lie anymore. It feels like home.